Sports culture.
Adam, you got that number of that guy and player thing, right?
We're so good. Thank you.
Excellent, man. Might be over time everything you're doing.
Sports Rap Live. Rapp, Andrew Martinez.
Oh man, here we go. Top of the hour, Sports Rap Live. Welcome to the Sunday wrap up right here on Sports Rap Live. We are at Junction Bar and Grill, and the 49ers fans
It's getting good up in here.
They got their
Oh,
faces
my
in their
goodness.
hands here at Junction Bar and Grill because this game is close. It's coming down to the wire, and Eli, you cannot spell elite without Eli. That's all I got to say. Eli makes a pinpoint throw under pressure down the sideline to get it to the 50 with Ahmad Bradshaw. I don't want to
Did you have that line in here? That Eli, you were waiting to say that, huh?
Oh, with that throw right there?
Man, you came real prepared on that line right there.
Man, how can you not? How can you not? Of course, it's the top of the hour. You're listening to Sports Rap Live on Sports Talk 790 and the iHeartRadio app. We've been talking a lot about the AFC game earlier, of course. That was finishing up. This game right here is coming down
and
to...
how fitting is it? Year of the kicker. How fitting. I'm telling you, he's going to try to kick it now. Year of the kicker, man.
Why is that? Because they just showed a clip of Tynes.
Yes, exactly.
Tynes on the sideline warming up already as we get to 32 seconds left in the NFC Championship
It's like
game.
it's a replay of the game that was earlier.
Eli Manning looks like he's been through damn near hell and back. He is just getting rocked out there.
Yeah, he's getting rocked majorly.
He's so
right now.
elusive.
You could never say that about his brother.
He's got that B button, that spin button, whatever that is, that circle on the PlayStation 3.
He's trying to hit that truck stick.
Yeah.
Timeout. Didn't they get rid of the? They got rid of the truck stick, didn't they?
Yeah, you just move the stick up.
That's right, because they had to follow the NFL rules where you can't touch anybody anymore when you play football. It's barely tackle football anymore, but this game right here is definitely tackle football.
Oh, anytime you get the 49ers involved, we saw them basically truck out a couple guys from the Saints last weekend. I know Pierre Thomas had it pretty rough. I get his bell rung.
But Eli stands in, man. You know what? Hey, he is a player. It's so funny he got a bad rap for so long. Even after he won a Super Bowl, they were still questioning Eli. Almost a David Tyree type catch.
And you know who's gonna be? You know who we're gonna be hearing about all this next week if the Giants go to the Super Bowl?
Who's that?
SEC guy.
Oh no!
Because this is an SEC quarterback.
And he would be facing a
Big Ten quarterback.
A Big Ten 6th-round draft pick quarterback.
Exactly. But Eli, it would be really impressive if he was going to get to, obviously he could get to his second Super Bowl before Peyton does, but to win 2 before his brother does.
Well, Peyton's been to 2. Peyton lost 1.
Right. Oh, that's true. That is true. We have to ask Rob Lowe what he thinks about that. See if he can tweet that out.
Exactly.
Yeah, what's this big deal about Rob Lowe and his tweets?
I don't know what he's talking about. He said that Peyton Manning's going to retire.
He's in that celebrity circle, I guess, apparently, where he gets all the news before everybody.
Apparently he knows Jim Irsay, and he's talking about how he knows that Peyton Manning's going to retire.
Well, apparently Peyton already has a new profession where he's going to be flipping the coin at halftime. Did you guys see him earlier?
Hey, man, it's better than those Oreo commercials he does with his brother. Would start, I don't even want to get into that. The whole it's like
it's gonna be the
Oreo
double
lickathon, trying to see how much they can get to whatever it is. It's just bad.
It's the double stuff hour. You know about the double stuff.
With the Williams sisters. Come on now.
Yeah, those commercials.
There's so many double entendres in that commercial. It's not even funny. Oreo cookies.
Sports commercials today.
And licking and yeah, of course. All right, well, hey, we mentioned at the bottom of the hour, and I'm going to mention one more time. Joe Paterno passed away. Some reports would have had him dying yesterday.
True.
But apparently Joe Paul wanted to wait one more day until it was a big Sunday and he could get top story above the NFC and AFC championship games. But you know what? Joe Paul became kind of a footnote to a really ugly story in the sports world in the last 6 months or so.
I don't think that's going to be his legacy, because when you talk about someone's legacy, you have to include everything that happened in their life, his whole career. But as that being the last thing and the lasting memory of him, of what he is known for at the end, I mean, there's no real easy way you can spin that forward. There's just not.
Yeah.
I want to say, he was a good football coach, but I think that's kind of where the accolades end for him, considering, you know, the whole thing with the Jerry Sandusky and whatnot. And Jerry Sandusky coming out and having a statement about that, I thought that was terrible. Why is he even saying anything about that?
That's a party foul.
Why would they even air
Exactly.
that he said anything like
Well,
that?
it's because
that
people
was
know
good.
it's controversial.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't agree with it. I just had to mention it. It's a huge story today, of course. You know, like you mentioned earlier, Andrew, it took over social media. Whereas a lot of people want to get into looking ahead at these games, like we do here on Sports Rap
The person
Live.
was the head of the Penn State newspaper that first reported it. The head editor resigned
Yes.
over this. So.
Little premature mediation there. A little premature.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure they had a good source, you know, that they were going to go with. But, I mean, I feel bad for his family. That's pretty much the extent of it.
Very true. Very true. All right, well, you hear that Biggie Smalls right now. The Giants are holding on tight, man. They just went. They looked like they were going to go down the field. Now they show David Akers warming up. They just showed Lawrence Tynes. Now, 30 seconds later, they show David Akers warming up.
If Alex Smith pulls this off,
What?
I don't know. I'm going to have to
What?
do something crazy.
What?
'Cause
Oh.
This is, I mean, that would be so impressive for him to do it again. Again. They have decent field position from almost the 35, but that would be really impressive if he could do it again.
Well, they still have all three of their timeouts.
Nah, this thing is going to overtime.
Man, we're not getting any fan feedback for a little while.
Everybody
Hey, do you
just
want to
waiting.
do you want to make a bet between one of us? One of us take one of the teams, one of us take the other one?
Let's do it. Live on air.
All right. Who do you want?
I'll take the Giants.
All right, I got the 49ers. And what do you want to put on it?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
I'll put $1.
Oh, gee.
What?
Come on. Come on.
I got bills to pay, son.
Stakes is high. I know after paying for this man's dinner
Yeah.
for Sports Rap Live Fantasy Challenge,
Oh, man.
he takes us to BRC and just goes buck wild with biscuits.
We're going to get into the fantasy more whenever we start getting into baseball season.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. You got anything? Hey, update us on some baseball stories right now as we wait for this game to end.
Baseball stories. Oh, the Red Sox, no one knows what the heck they're doing. They traded away, who was it, their shortstop yesterday? I was reading about this. It's pretty much they basically traded away both their shortstops and have no shortstop left.
After having a plethora of shortstops for a few
And they
years.
have pretty much nothing left, which is pretty insane.
Kind of like Alex Smith right now.
Supposedly the Red Sox are trying to get Wandy from the Astros, which that would be kind of interesting. Maybe they, ask for one of our shortstops as well.
Happy birthday to Ozzie Guillen, too. Ozzie Guillen,
I saw that.
48 years old, of course, the new coach.
Okay, so the Rockies got Marco Scudero from the Red Sox for pretty much nothing. Clayton Mortensen, that's pretty much nothing. It just didn't make any sense. They might be trying to clear a cap space. They're talking about to maybe get Roy Oswalt. They could maybe have Roy or maybe Wandy, maybe both. So that would be kind of interesting, but no one really knows. Another big thing that we talked about this week was Yu Darvish. This
That's
guy's
right.
huge in the news. He's
Yes.
signing with the Rangers.
Did you guys see his pot leaf T-shirt as he was walking through the airport?
This guy is legit rock star. I'm talking like international rock star.
Haven't I heard this story before? Japanese pitcher comes to America.
The gyro ball.
Yeah.
No. That was he threw a bunch of pitches and no one had ever heard of him. Yu Darvish is legit. He has better numbers than Daisuke. More aggressive, more strikeouts. I think he could be a number one legit guy.
Well, he's a $118 million player now.
Yeah, and half of that went to his team for a posting fee. I mean, you want to get into that stuff, which is pretty weird.
Yeah, how do you feel about that posting fee?
I feel like, it's a system that's obviously slanted. Well, we're trying to get the last play in here.
Nah.
It's a system that's obviously slanted towards the benefactor of the team, of his old team. This in no way helps the player. What does Yu Darvish actually get out of this? If a team bids on him, they're the only team that he can negotiate with. He has to take the offer they make. What is he going to say, no? And go through the posting process again? It's pretty much slanted. All the chips are not in the player's favor. So I don't really like the system. I think it's kind of bogus. I think the draft itself for Major League Baseball is bogus. Why do all these players automatically have to go to these teams and have to go submit themselves? Same thing with all sports. I kind of think it should be a different process where teams are actually able to find the players that fit best within their organization, maybe.
Coming from a true roto head over here.
Well, I'd also like to see baseball trying to adopt trading of draft picks. That's something that baseball is way, way, way behind because they kind of are scared that, like, let's say the Astros have the number one pick and the Astros are strapped for cash. The Yankees might come in and be like, hey, we'll buy that pick from you for some minor leaguers or some other, other assets or whatnot. I think baseball is really scared that a team like the like the Yankees, the Red Sox would buy the number one draft pick every year.
Every year.
Right.
Right.
So
And
I think we're moving towards something where it's going to be a system that's different from what we have, but I don't know. The Yu Darvish thing is huge.
Of course, 740, our sister station, KTRH, is the home of the Astros, and you'll be able to catch them starting in spring training at Kissimmee all the way through the regular season. What are some of your outlooks for these Astros, Andrew?
I'm not really sure. I don't think it's gonna be very good. I think it's gonna be a lot more of the same that we saw in the second half, mostly because not just with the new ownership, but you have to factor in that how long was Lance Berkman there? About half the season. How long was Roy Oswalt there? For about half the season. Okay, imagine a full season without them. I think it's gonna be much rougher. I think the guys that we have at the second half of the season, that while they did get a little more experience, that's gonna be good for them. But I don't think this team is gonna be. I think it's gonna be another 100 loss team.
Back-to-back 100 loss seasons.
Well, they don't have really no real significant veteran players that are good. I think they're going to try and get rid of Carlos Lee. They've already been trying to see if they can get someone. If they can get Carlos to take off his no trade clause to get rid of him and try and eat some of that contract. And now they're trying to move Wandy. They're really just trying to scrap the whole thing and start over again.
Well, you have a whole new ownership group. You got a whole new regime over there at Minute Maid Park.
There was a story I wanted to touch on. Did you hear the story about Foster Carmona?
Yes.
And the real
Yes.
Foster Carmona's mom outing the dude?
Yes. It's not even Fausto Carmona is not even Fausto Carmona. His name is what? Rodriguez?
Dang.
Roberto Hernandez Heredia.
Yeah.
That's Foster Carmona.
How do you feel if you're the Cleveland Indians right now?
Well, supposedly he got a new contract and he was trying to, the money that he was paying to the family whose name he was keeping, he was basically stealing and using for the visa.
Wow.
He didn't re-up the money, and so he was, they wanted some severance, so they outed him.
He went Danny Almonte on them.
Well, this isn't the only one. There's also a guy,
went
closer
little-
for the Florida Marlins, Leo Nunez,
Yeah.
who is now like Carlos Oviedo.
Oh my God.
I mean, this is becoming an issue.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, we had Mickey a few years ago when Miguel Tejada was here. All of a sudden, it came out that Mickey was 2 years older than.
Well, that's another thing. We found out Carmona is not 28. We found out he's 31. I mean, it's getting ridiculous with these Latin players.
How do you feel like if you've put all this money and you're re-upping this guy's contract, all of a sudden, not only is he not who he said he was.
They didn't do a good background check. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but
Clearly.
who really does though?
Well,
they-
the Carlos
well, they
Oviedo
need- they
thing
need to.
for Leo Nunez, he's already come back and he's already gotten a new deal. So I mean, it's not going to be an issue for him. But Carmona, a.k.a. I guess Heredia, I don't even know what to call the guy anymore. He's going to be Foster Carmona until I'm done.
I guess
talking
so.
about it,
I
but-
guess so. You know what? Major League Baseball, they just seem to show up on the shores of Miami and just pull guys off a raft and say, hey, you want to play
The
baseball?
last thing I want to touch on is Posada is going to announce his retirement. Jorge Posada, probably this next week. So,
Props to Posada. Hey, you know what? Lifetime Yankee.
yeah.
Four-time champion.
He's probably a Hall of Famer, but it'll take a while for him to get in.
All right, well, hey, we got a Hall of Fame show going right here on Sports Talk 790, and I think this game has just gone into overtime. No, I know.
Overtime.
Yeah, so we're going to try to wrap it all up for you guys when we get back from this quick break. A word from your local sponsor here on Sports Talk 790.